Hey, I wanted to do a video. I just did one of the few rare restarts because I started the video and I burped about 2 seconds in. But like most of my videos, I try to just talk. So anyway, in my haste and rather in excitement of self-experiment and experimenting with different technologies and products and ideas, I didn't do a Google search of my genius idea yesterday. And yeah, the product is well represented in the marketplace already. Well, I don't want to say well represented, but represented, obviously, heavily by Chinese companies. But so, all respect due um, to the people who've been here before me. Um, the negative ion humidifiers um, are available um, at much more reasonable prices than I put mine together for. Although I would say that I'm not unhappy with my purchases. Um, so this is my thinking for saying that, because obviously I found that combining a humidifier with the negative ion generator is vastly preferable to a negative ion generator by itself because of how your body reacts to the air quality, um, to the actual probabilistic ionic compounds that you're making and their kind of bioavailability, um, or how they are going to potentially react with your body. In other words, instead of breathing a bunch of small and medium sized ionic particles, you're breathing less of those and more hydroxides or ionized water molecules, um, which is obviously going to have a much better reaction with your body than a large ionic particle, um, with no moisture in it or no water in it, that is going to get trapped in your throat or your lungs, right? And you feel it. So the difference between the activity is so significant. This is how I can describe it, and quite literally. In order to kind of feel the effects of the ionizer by itself, you have to expose yourself to a large amount of them close. And even then, you feel the positive effects. Excuse me, I'm burping. You feel the positive effects of like the pulsing under your skin, and the increased energy feel, and the feel that you're like killing viruses and stuff, right? So you feel that, and you really do, like, increased energy, and you feel like you're detoxifying and all this stuff. But you also feel like you're getting a sore throat, you feel like you're getting a little bit of a headache, and again, you have to be very close to the machine. Now, I'm upstairs in my bedroom, so I'm almost directly above my kitchen, but I am probably, 30 paces based on any direct airstream away from my kitchen. And I have that base air 555, which is touted to produce 30 million negative ions, and my ultrasonic humidifier going in my kitchen. Within about 2 minutes of turning it on, I could feel those same effects, and maybe even more pronounced, up in my bedroom 30 feet away. Now, I have my fan going, so it's circulating the air throughout the house, but it changed the air quality throughout the entire house very quickly. Now, that ultrasonic humidifier probably is misting, you know, a liter an hour, maybe a little bit less, maybe half of that, at the most half of that, but somewhere between half a liter and a liter every hour. So it's putting a lot of humidity in the air. And that in combination with the ionizer is significantly changing the air quality throughout my entire house very quickly, right? So the difference in how they operate and what they do to the indoor air is drastic. So I'm a little bit ashamed that I was unaware that ultrasonic humidifiers coupled with negative ionizers already exist. I thought it's a novel idea, but like 99.99% of my novel ideas, it's not at all. That being said, the products exist. I purchased one because obviously a finished product is much better. Now, it looks like their finished product is my initial thought, which was the negative ion generator uh, downstream from the ultrasonic humidifier. But it may be reversed. I may have been like they showed a picture of it, and it showed the moisture coming out from the ultrasonic humidifier. So if that's the case, then the negative ionizer is beneath it, and they're blowing air across the ionizer and then picking up the humidity. And if that's the case, then I was probably right in its potential to damage the equipment. Ergo, I'm happy I'm getting one that's properly designed and I'm not going to break my other one, which will go down in my basement and serve to keep the dust and, you know, whatever, any radioactive gases that might be coming up from the ground, any pollen that might be coming in my fresh air, keep all that stuff, heavy so it stays down in my basement, hopefully in a dust particle on the floor, and move the manufactured negative ion humidifier up into my bedroom. So this is where it's gonna kind of deviate, because even though it's more bioactive, I feel like I can tolerate it better, and I'm gonna try to use it while I sleep. See if it gives me a headache. I'll probably discontinue it based on that, because that's been the problem in the past. But it's worth it, I think. So I picked one up. It was 50% off with my Prime membership, and available at Walmart for more than 100% more than my 50% off version. Oh, and I'll post a link of it below because I think it's worth it. It's another 30 million, but the humidifier output is much less. So you put, I think, 5 liters. No, that's about the same. 5 liters, and they say it lasts 10 hours. Davey knocked over my water. So, I just wanted to make another video saying that the hydroxide, which is what I think calling it a negative ion humidifier is what it is. But what I'm trying to do is generate hydroxides in the water droplets in the air. So that's a little bit of a semantic difference, I suppose. But anyway, so I just wanted to update that video. It's not necessarily something that is worth building, because quite frankly the products on the market are cheaper and designed to do both functions with timers and humidity sensors, so you can program in, you want to maintain 50% relative humidity, put it in your bedroom, bam, it's maintaining 50% relative humidity in your bedroom and adding negative ions with that humidification, which is really, quite frankly, nearing the pinnacle of indoor air quality, as far as like bordering on medical gas, because of the output capacity and the relative cost of generating these hydroxides. It can be done in such a way that you're treating the gas of the entire house for viruses, for mold, and treating your body for viruses and cancer. Now, like I talked about before, the downside to it is the increased oxidative stress. Now, it doesn't, people say negative ions are good, they're not like positive ions. I think that's true, but that is kind of like a coincidence. It's not a coincidence, it's just like it's stress either way. It's stress when you move away from neutrality, and we need to move away from neutrality to stimulate life and to terminate life. And it's more of music than science, in my opinion, in the sense that as you move away from stable biradical oxygen and move into reactive oxygen species, it doesn't matter if you go right or you go left. Eventually you get back to the complete polar, not polar opposite, but polar extreme oxygen species, and you could literally cross paths and come right back to stable oxygen. And as you go either direction with gaining or losing electrons, your body essentially reacts the same way, but different. You're either grabbing an electron or you're shedding an electron, that being the metaphoric directionality, but either way, it's stress on your body. So the important part to balance that out is the hydration and the hydrogen. So the hydrogen is what's going to protect your DNA, ideally, and allow the oxidative stress to preferentially target DNA strands with fewer hydrogen bonds, and that's going to be viruses. So the weaker hydrogen bonds make them easier targets for the oxidative stress. And since we're not going to an oxidative extreme, the oxidative stress is not enough to hurt us, really. But quantum biology isn't forgiving, it's touchy-feely. In other words, just the fact, like, we might not break a hydrogen bond in our DNA, but as we try to, we're pulling on a viral strand and we're pulling on our strand, and the viral strand has 2 hydrogen bonds and you have 3, and I'm not saying that that's the case, I don't know, but I'm assuming it's easier to kill a viral strand of DNA as opposed to yours, which is double helix and protected by cell walls and all that stuff. So the hydroxide is circulating throughout your system and is an extremely small molecule. It's basically a water molecule, and it bumps into your DNA. Well, it tries to pull on the bonds, and let's say it can't break the hydrogen bonds in your cell, but it tries to. So it pulls on the DNA, and specifically the hydrogen molecule, but in doing so, it's pulling on your DNA. Well, that causes your DNA to vibrate a little bit as these oxygen species are kind of passing by and pulling on the hydrogen bond as they do, and that vibration causes your DNA to express different RNA. and that RNA expresses that vibrational stress in the form of inflammatory hormone production. And just so you're fully aware, it's not going to damage your cell, but your cell will respond in a way that it says, I feel threatened. So that's where you'll get some of the negative symptoms. And why I'm going to still say intermittent use is recommended. But I really do think that adding humidity to the introduction of negative ions makes it much more palatable for medium term use, especially if you're taking hydrogen at the same time, which I've been doing while I sleep too. So I might say, like, do one night on, one night off with the negative ion humidifier and do hydrogen every night. I might stop doing hydrogen. I don't know. But all I know is that I picked up a new negative ion generator that has a built in humidifier, and I'm going to discontinue use of my jerry rigged model and move the humidifier into my bedroom so I can maintain, a constant relative humidity and a constant kind of negative ionic atmosphere and see how I feel, see if it is something that I can tolerate better than a negative ion generator by itself, which really does dry you out. So I just wanted to give credit where credit was due and say that my idea is validated and simultaneously stupid. And it's stupid because Google your invention ideas before you make a video about them. Because while they might be great ideas, the likelihood that they are great ideas just increases the probability that a bunch of people thought about it before you, because most of the time great ideas don't sit on the shelf that long, and this is no exception. So I had a great idea, but I'm far from the first. I'll take it.